Hey, what's up? It's Luke, and you're watching Luke the Gathering. Thanks for being here. Thanks for checking out my channel. And if you've been here before, I really appreciate it. I'm always trying to grow the channel, get it bigger. It's relatively new, but I'm trying to do lots of videos so that we got lots of content to watch on this channel. And hopefully you like Magic the Gathering, because it's a game that I really just recently got into. But with anything I do, I take the deep dive in and I go all in. Buy tons of stuff, try to learn as much as I can, play as much as I can. And so that's what I've been doing. And today, we're going to talk about the draft that I was a part of. This was at my local game store, Davis Cards and Games in Davis, California. Great store. They have a Friday Night Magic draft that they do. And of course, we're in Adventures in the Forgotten Realms, so we're drafting that set, and it's been a ton of fun. Recently, I've been going 2-1. I've been trying to get that 3-0 for the longest time. I haven't been able to do it yet. And unfortunately, this week, not that great. I went 1-2. I thought my deck was really pretty decent. I built a decent deck. I'll show it to you guys in just a second here. But I definitely got beat to some players with good experience, and their decks, I would say, they just had a leg up on me, for sure. And we'll kind of talk about what happened during the booster draft. But we'll do it while I talk about the cards, which are right here. And so I went 1-2, unfortunately, but still a lot of fun. And, you know, you play the cards you're dealt, and that is what it is. So let's check out the deck and the cards right now. Well, look at here. Price of Loyalty. No surprises. I love this card, and this card was great. I drafted black-red, as I did last week. I actually probably should have drafted a different color, honestly, because black-red, although it's a great deck archetype, didn't serve me too well this tournament. But Price of Loyalty was really great. It did get me some wins. I just couldn't win the round, which was unfortunate, but I did draft 2 of them, and I put both in my deck. This is the deck that I was using. This is a card that I wasn't sure if I was going to actually put into the deck. Fate's Reversal. This was going against a few other cards, and I'll show you the sideboard later. But this was great. Like, Fate's Reversal was awesome. I was able to get back cards from my graveyard that, boy, made a huge difference. And you'll see some of the big creatures that I had. Getting those big creatures back was amazing. It was just awesome. Like, the opponents thought, okay, they spent all their time trying to get rid of some of these big baddies, and this card for just 2 mana gets them back, and you get to go into the dungeon. I mean, wow. This is not a card I use very often. I just kind of last minute decided to put Fate's Reversal in, and it did a marvelous job for me. The Ray of Enfeeblement. This card was a card I used a lot last draft. But this draft, I did use it, but I didn't play anyone in white. So it really didn't live up to its full potential. It's kind of good, because if I had 2 of these, I probably would have maybe main decked 2 of them. But I just had 1, and so I just kind of left it in there. It did a little bit of work, but definitely didn't make the impact that I thought it would. Deadly Dispute is one of my sacrifice outlets with Price of Loyalty. It's a really good one. I didn't get to use Deadly Dispute too often. Never really was able to draw it, so it didn't do a whole lot. Power Word Kill is a great removal spell, and for only 2 mana, it's great. But so I was gonna tell you guys, like, why wasn't my red deck successful? Because you use cards like Price of Loyalty to steal their best, creature and use it against them. But the 2 decks that I lost to, they just had a bunch of, say, mediocre creatures, like 2 3s, or like 1 4s, or 1 3s in the air. And these are like blue and green creatures that just have a bit more toughness, not a lot of attack. And so stealing their creatures or using Power Word Kill or Dragon's Fire, like, it made little to no difference when I was facing, an opponent that kind of went wider than me where if I took their creature, it didn't help. Or even if I used Dragon's Fire to eliminate a creature, it just didn't help that much. They just kept putting down, these medium-sized creatures bigger than 2/2, and it was just hard to deal with. And so these games kind of dragged on and on. And in the long game, I feel like those types of opponents have the advantage. So Grim Bounty, again, great removal card, gets you a treasure. But again, like I was hoping the treasure would ramp me, and it did. Actually, it really helped ramp me. But they also had their own removal, so they played very well. I gotta give it to them. Sepulchre Ghoul. This is the free sacrifice outlet that you can use, if you have Price of Loyalty. Really great card. Did the job it was supposed to do. Herald of Adar, just kind of a medium guy. This guy actually was pretty good in the deck because he was able to meet some of those 3/4s, 4/4s head on. Vampire Spawn, another just solid card. Plundering Barbarian. This guy's great just because you can either destroy an artifact or create a treasure token. Both of those things are really great on, getting him entered into the battlefield. The only thing I don't like about him is once he's there, he's just a 2/2. He just will trade with somebody, or, against the green and blue creatures I faced today in my losses, he just doesn't do anything. Like, guys that have 3 defense or more, this guy just can't do anything. Hobgoblin Captain was decent in the game, as he always is. The only bad thing is if he can't get his pack tactics to work, or if he has to play defensively, then the 3/1 is kind of a detriment, and he kind of was a little bit of a detriment today. Skullport Merchant was good in the deck. 1/4 though, he's not going to be able to beat anybody in a battle. The best he could do is get these treasure tokens to me, and that's kind of what I used him for. Zombie Ogre was really nice, but these guys were some of the fewer bigger guys that I had, so these guys were slated for instant removal anytime they hit the board. Clattering Skeletons only has 3 toughness. Wanty was good. Baleful Beholder was nice. And then, of course, Shambling Ghasts, we had those guys as well. I do want to mention that the Baleful Beholder did do a nice job, especially with making all of the creatures that I have menace, and that made a difference. And so that was nice. But, when you have a bunch of guys like this, Shambling Ghast, who are great utility guys, but if you need them to really step up in battle from the mid-game and beyond, it's not where it's at with these guys. So, unfortunately, great in the beginning of the game, okay in the mid-game, but it just doesn't help with battles. I did draft this extended art Black Dragon. This guy put in a lot of work for me. Again, I love giving an opponent's creature -3/-3 and killing them. However, like I said, sometimes it was just really hard. It didn't even matter who I chose to eliminate because there was enough defense from the opponent where I just couldn't break through at those endpoint games. So everything was just too little, especially when it was too late too. Orcus, this was a really nice pull. 5/3 in the air, flying trample. Man, the only problem with this was I got Orcus kind of late. I had 2 life left, and it would have been great to actually spend 2 for X and destroy all their creatures with 2 defense at that point, but it would have drained all my life away. What a shame. I ended up having to use the bring up to X target creature cards with total manual X or less from the graveyard, and so I brought back somebody, but it was I think it was the Hobgoblin Captain, and in the later part of the game, Hobgoblin Captain, I feel like is a little bit less good. He's really great in the mid game, I feel like, but towards the end, if you've worn down some of the troops and you can't hit the pack tactics, Hobgoblin Captain is not that good. Another very synergistic card in the deck was Kalain. And Kalain, I got on turn 2 a number of times. So Kalain actually came out and gave me a treasure token and buffed some creatures with treasure. This was a really good pickup. I really like picking up Kalain. I think of the 3, I would say 3. These 3 were my main heavies that did a lot of good work for me. There were some Earth Cult Elementals that I wanted to pick up. I saw them go by, but there were other cards I'd rather have. Kind of wish I had some of those because those guys are really, really solid and stable. All right, let's check out the sideboard. I'm actually going to move this card down. So we had the tokens and stuff. That doesn't matter. I just picked up this Orb of Dragonkind just because it was a rare, and there was nothing to take in the pack, so I took that. This is, nothing. Some of the greens, when you're drafting in person, not on Arena, sometimes what I do is I try to take some cards that I think would really hose me, like Inspiring Bards are good, Bull Strength. That would really just make it a bad day for me, so I took them out. I took them for myself. I think at one point I was thinking of going into green. I think Spoils of the Hunt was a card that I would have liked to get into green. Shambling Gas. Oh, this is my real sideboard. Shambling Gas, Feign Death. Oh, yeah, these were the cards I was thinking instead of... what was that card called? Let me see. Fate's Reversal. So instead of Fate's Reversal, I was thinking of maybe another Shambling Gas for a total of 3, or maybe Feign Death is sort of like a Fate's Reversal. Even Critical Hit, because if I was being more aggressive, maybe, getting a double hit in would be great. But I think Fate's Reversal was the best choice. Devour Intellect is a card that never just makes it in. Baleful Beholder, I didn't need 2. Drider, I just think too expensive. I had 2 Deadly Disputes. Kick in the Door was just nothing. Evolving Wilds, I didn't need it. Spike Pit Trap, didn't need it. Horde Robber, I like Horde Robber, but only when you get him at the very beginning. And if you can get in a few strikes, or if you have Thieves' Tools, then he can be useful to make those treasures. Otherwise, he's kind of better on defense, and sometimes he can't go in because the other guys are too strong. And he can't make it past them. All right, now this is cool. Check it out, a Goblin Guide. So the store's been giving out a lot of promo cards for just folks that come to the tournaments, and I've got like 3 promo cards now, and they've all been awesome. Goblin Guide is the latest one. I think this is probably the best one of the bunch. It's a promo, it's a foil, it looks amazing. This is such a cool card, and so I'm glad to get the Goblin Guide just for free, just for showing up. I mean, how awesome is that? For my troubles, too, I got 1 round win, so that means 1 pack. And this pack was actually really nice to me, so I'll show you the Spoils of War that I got in this pack. Check it out. We got a Sararak Mythic. That's a really sweet pull. So we got a Sararak and a rare foil in that pack, the Ochre Jelly in rare. So I think that's a great little prize for the end of the tournament. Getting those 2 to add to the collection. I think a Sararak is awesome, especially in draft. I wish I could have drafted him, actually. He would have been great. But it is what it is. So thanks for watching this little chat about the booster draft that I went to at Davis Cards and Games, Friday Night Magic. Tons of fun. Can't wait to go back this week and participate again. Thanks for listening, and I will see you next time.